4 stages of adult development. Where are you on this stage? Right now, I need you to think about your childhood. How was it? Was it abusive? Did your parents neglect you? Did they treat you like the black sheep? Did they exclude you from all sorts of things? Maybe. Well, you should listen, okay? I make these videos to help people with themselves because no one else is trying to help you with your psychological problems. The government is doing all sorts of stupid shit. Your parents are maybe some screw-ups, right? Your friends, they're all doing drugs to some degree. Your boss sucks. There's no one helping you with your development. So why am I helping people with development? Because I also went through abuse and things like that. So I'm paying it forward, okay? Because at times when you were abused, you know, like me, I wasn't living a great life and I shouldn't be here, but I am. So I'm paying it forward. So let's continue. All right. So we all move through development stages, excuse me, stages, but it's also easy to get stuck. All right. So Sigmund Freud developed 5 stage models of human development, each stage with its own characteristics and challenges. Not only was this a useful way of viewing our growth, but he believed that individuals could get stuck. Do you feel stuck in your life? Maybe you're stuck in a cycle where you keep making the same mistake over and over again. What would that look like? You know, maybe you're dating one kind of woman and it always ends up being a shitty relationship. Or for women, you end up dating this one kind of guy because he makes you feel a certain way and all guys suck. Maybe you can relate and maybe you're stuck. So, okay, so here we go. Not only, fixated at certain stages, forever shaping them as adults. A more modern version of Stephen Covey's maturity continuum, a 4-stage model that I have found most helpful in my work with clients, he says. Here are the characteristics, okay? So stage 1, dependency. You know, when you're a kid, all right? Think back to your childhood, all right? So a 3-month-old isn't capable of changing his own diapers, and an 8-year-old cannot drive himself to soccer practice. Dependency is where the foundation of relationship is formed, where the child learns whether or not the world and others are safe. Does that sound familiar? Reliable and able to provide for their needs. Maybe you're stuck at that stage. Okay, maybe something happened to you when you were a child and you can't really trust anyone. Challenges. For some children, the world isn't safe and caretakers are not reliable or caring. To survive in this world, many children learn early on to be hyper vigilant, hyper aware, right? You had to be vigilant. You had to be hyper aware because you knew your parents were about to screw you up, right? You're just chilling, doing your thing, and a beating comes out of nowhere, right? Or maybe you're sleeping in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and you wake up to someone pounding your face. Yeah, I've been there. So the world wasn't a safe place. So I understand what you went through or maybe going through. All right. So to survive in this world, many children learn early on to be hyper vigilant, always looking around corners, highly sensitive to their environment so they know they are safe. Fight or flight mode. It takes a lot of years out of your life. The type of abuse that some of you went through takes 20 years off of your life, and your parents don't even think anything about taking 20 years of your life. Losers. Narcissists, losers who only think of themselves. That's who these people are. Others go a different route and develop an early hyper independence where no one can be counted on. There's me and me. A stance that rules the rest of their lives. And guess what? That's why I choose me over anyone, because that's just the way it is. Because there's been many people along the way that have proved to me that the world is not safe. And maybe you can relate, okay? At the opposite pole of these children who, instead of being neglected, were maybe giving too much attention, always babied, always bailed out, always the center of attention. And guess what? That's not good either. These people usually end up being brats and me, gimme, and they get bailed out of everything, and they don't learn a lesson to be independent, okay? Because their mothers probably lost control when they were children. See, if your mother's controlling, she lost control when she was a child. Maybe someone raped her, and maybe that's why she's super protective of other people, all right? They don't trust other people as well. They never had to struggle or fight their own battles, and as the result, never discovered what they were capable of, nor developed the gift that builds self-confidence. As adults, they feel entitled or still dependent, expecting others to make them feel better, solve their problems, run their lives. That is so terrible. I'm glad I'm not there. And if you are there, my heart goes out to you, okay? Any way you slice it, you were abused. The second stage, counterdependence. This is what is talked about in the Terrible Twos, where toddlers learn to say no and push back. But it comes to the fore in their teen years. It's called counterdependence because you are still dependent. Most of us at 13 are unable to get our own apartment and job, but you are pushing back. You know boundaries. You now bounce away from your parents and into your peer group. They become your new support. This is a step towards individualism and discovering through trial and error with your peers who you are apart from your parents. Does that sound familiar? We all did it, right? We all found our friends and so on and so forth that we related, and we hung out and we did drugs with them and had sex with them and things like that. You know, not all friends, but you know what I mean. You know, life, it happens, right? Challenges. Some teens don't push back. They may dip their toes in these rebellious waters, but never really break out. They are the good kids who learn early on to fear conflict and strong emotions and make parents and others happy. That's not good either, right? Maybe you know someone. Because this misfeeling the power that can come from standing their ground or experimenting with their lives. This trait can eventually catch up to them. At 32, they may find themselves angry at their parents for childhood grievances and divorce or having affairs. In other words, it's a messy life. In short, doing the adolescent rebelling and experimenting that they missed years before. So what does that mean? You didn't develop the way you should have, okay? That's what that means, okay? Because you're rebelling at 32 instead of in your high school years. See what I'm saying? So as with dependency, some get stuck. In this case, in their rebellion, their identity becomes not what they are, but who they are not. They can move to extremes and may be susceptible to addictions or relationships they cannot manage. And so they are always struggling, feeling unheard, feeling lonely, feeling angry, me against the world. And if you're here, I feel sorry for you. And you should obviously subscribe, because this is the content that I will make in this channel to to help people understand themselves, because we need to understand ourselves to get unstuck. That's the message for my channel. Okay? Stage 3, independence. All right? Ideally, you successfully navigate these 2 stages. You calm down and are not always bucking your parents. You go to college, or you move out and begin your life. A life as an adult. Paying your own bills, making your own decisions, having your own skills, and having close friends. You become more of your own person, not merely an unversion of what came before. But this stage is fragile, particularly in the early years. You're afraid of sliding back into dependency, being the little kid, and so your independence is at start one of self-sufficiency. While you don't explode like you did as a teen, you resist any help from your parents. You want things done your way and are adamant about what you want. Challenges for you, okay? Here too, you can get stuck. Unlike the traumatized child, you trust others, but your everyday sense of independence and self remains rigid. You hold on to that I can do it myself attitude. Does that ring a bell with you, or maybe some friends that feel this way? All right. You have a hard time asking for and accepting help because you're associated with weakness. Boy, I know I can relate to some of that too. All right. Stage 4. Okay, we're almost done. Independence. You move beyond the self-sufficient stage and accept that you cannot do everything on your own, that you can look up to others for help, and that doing so doesn't mean you're weak, doesn't affect your self-esteem. How is your self-esteem? Do you like yourself? Do you love yourself? Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and see what happens. That should tell you how much work you need to do about loving yourself. You know you are capable of standing on your own, and trust that others can be a support. Challenges. You get close but don't quite round the corner. You allow others to help, but you need to be in control because you lost control a long time ago, maybe. All right. Moving forward. Can you learn to move forward if you are stuck at some stage? Yes. And the key is learning those skills to create the experience that each stage requires. If, for example, you feel you are untrusting or realize you're too entitled or dependent, your challenge is to take baby steps towards learning into a relationship, leaning into a relationship, or learning to run your own life rather than depending on others to do it for you. If you are stuck in counter dependence, you need to learn to challenge your rebellious anger to on a constructive path. More importantly, you want to practice making your decisions and plans based not on your reaction to what they want or say, but on what you want. If you are stuck in self-sufficient independence, experiment with letting go of control or feeling that you have to do it all. If you are self-critical, make push back against the voice and challenge to work on, okay? Against the voice a challenge to work on, all right? We all can be better versions of ourselves, okay? You don't have to stay where you are at. That is the good news, okay? You can always change. Every day is another day that you can challenge yourself to change. As long as you try to make yourself 1% better every day, you're on the right path, okay? You can learn to heal your wounds from your past in the present. You see what I'm saying? And that is the conclusion of today's video. And this is a message for you because I was reading this article, in my feed, and I wanted to pass it on to you guys to maybe see what stage you're on, because I'm here to help people move forward with their lives, because you are a little less than an angel, and I will see you in another video.